Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 115. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, from beautiful Sauvage, Minnesota, where summer, I guess spring is left and summer is here. So we're hot, we're sweaty, and it's the dog days of summer, which we'll talk about in a few seconds about our buy rent return. But with that, I'm joined by the Canardian, the recent owner of a 3-year-old.
Yeah,
Mark, how are you doing, man?
Today, as we're recording, I am great. We had a busy weekend celebrating Finn with a family party, and then again, kind of today with a smaller little thing with my parents and stuff. But it was a good busy weekend. It was very, very nice here, and today it was like windy and cold and blah again. But I think tomorrow the temperature's spiking back up, so I'm in the mood for like barbecue and summer and all that kind of stuff to get started as well. So yeah, I'm good and excited to talk about this summer and what to expect.
It's going to be a crazy year because we don't know a lot, and we're going to get more into what we think we're going to see in the next couple of weeks with all of the game and news and announcements. But before we do that, we want to thank our Patreons. So, Mark, if you want to go ahead and thank our Patreons, that would be very kind of you, sir.
Absolutely, yeah. We have to thank our best bud tier, Jamie Prinky, our BFFs, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias. You guys are amazing. Missy Merchant, also absolutely amazing. And Andy Milliken, thank you so much. You guys, the BFF tier always blows me away with continued support. So thank you guys all so much. And I do want to say we're kind of lucky that Patreon's launching something new. We're going to be able to do free 7-day trials on the top tier, the BFF. So if you want to test that out, if you're on a lower tier and you want to see what's there, or if you haven't signed up for Patreon and you kind of want to see what it's all about, want to get that bonus content, free trials, which is really, really cool. Cause you know, I always like free trials for like apps or streaming services like, you know, Paramount Plus. I want that free 7-day trial. What's this about? Apple TV? Sure. What's this about? So the Patreon's no different. It can be, you know, a decent amount of money, and you want to sample those flavors, right?
Absolutely. And I think at this point, if I think about all that we've done 10 episodes of Spinner Rack. Charlie has done a significant amount of episodes of The Facts of Geek Life, where he reviews all of the things in the past and recounts that with a special guest. He's done so many cool interviews with Missy Merchant and the team that have been fantastic. So that's there. I know there'll be a new episode of The Facts of Geek Life on Friday, and the following week we're doing Irredeemable for the Spinner Rack. Some more to come. Nice. And we just did the co-op mode on the PlayStation Showcase, where Mark, when I told him we're going to have some folks, he's like, wait, you're going to have this for how long? We're going to be on for 80 minutes. I don't have the time, guys. So Mark bowed out, and then we had a couple guests. So Famous Seamus and Andrew Simichek joined us for that. So we're trying some different things. And Mark with the Canadian Corner and you and Lauren are doing some cool stuff. And I know more stuff is to come.
Absolutely, yeah. So good time to bounce in for a 7-day free trial. And yeah, I was sad to have to bounce for that, but I did watch the PlayStation Showcase that same night while I kind of finished it while you guys were doing stuff. So yeah, it was a neat showcase.
Yeah, we'll talk about that actually in our bonus round about all of the gaming showcases and things coming soon. So you'll get Mark's take on the showcase when we get to that point. But with that, Mark, I think it's your least anticipated part of the show, buy rent return, and what will Todd picked. So quick question. Do you know why I picked buy rent return today, which is a focus on dogs?
I didn't until you said the dog days of summer. And I'm guessing that's it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Close. And my dog, right. my wife actually said, "Oh, the dog's days of summer." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But there is something else to that, and I'll talk about when we get to what we've been playing. Okay. Going from there, but it's dogs focused because I will clue you in now. I've been playing Humanity, and the main character in Humanity is a Shiba Inu. And
Oh,
that's the
okay.
weird part. So I'm like, oh, dogs, characters, dogs characters, and who have they been in games and things like that. So I picked 3 this week. So I picked Goofy, which at points, Mark, you're the Disney aficionado. I almost picked Pluto, but I'm like, Pluto really hasn't been a character you could play in a game. So I picked Goofy, and I'm like, but is Goofy really a dog? I don't know. He looks like a dog,
Yeah.
but he also
Yeah.
has
He can
Pluto,
be a
which
dog.
is his pet.
Yep.
It makes no sense, but we'll go
Nope.
with it.
Yep.
He was in Kingdom Hearts, so he was a playable character with that, with Donald and Mickey. He was a lot of fun there. Then we have the Duck Hunt dog. Does he actually have a name? I don't know.
I don't know. It's the Nintendo guy.
Some
I feel
people
like
call
I
him an
should know
asshole,
that.
but I don't know if he has a real name.
Yeah.
And then we have Parappa the Rapper, a rapping dog who dances. So,
Yeah.
and Mark, did I miss
Good
any
mix.
other like essential dog characters?
Well, I mean, you could have gone with like a dog companion or something. Dog meat jumps into my
Sure.
my head right away. Or any kind of sideline dog that you might look up and see on Can You Pet the Dog? Maybe could have picked Nintendogs, the dog from there, or
All the
something like that.
dogs.
Like, yeah, but I think for iconic dogs in video games, I think you got a pretty decent mix here.
I was torn because I almost went wolf because I'm like, is wolf really a dog? Because you have like Amaterasu, who is an Okami, who's the main character,
Right?
one of the greatest characters of all time. So love him. I thought about Wolf Link, right? And then it's like,
Absolutely,
okay, you
yeah.
can play as Wolf Link. I got my amiibo out there, so I'm like,
Right.
what other, So I'm like, it could be, it's a slippery slope, Mark. That's all I could
Yeah,
say.
very.
So I'm like keeping it clear with these are purebred dogs. No subspecies. They got to be playable. It's not just petting is not enough. They can't be a game of all dogs, all the dogs, or we get into like probably Ubisoft had a dogs with a Z game, I assume too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was there. If anybody else thinks
Good
of any
mix.
dogs characters that are playable, let us know.
Mm.
So Mark, with these 3, and it's really representing all different platforms and things like that. We got Goofy, Duck Hunt Dog, and Parappa Rapper. What would you do with these dogs?
This is a tough one, man. This is you came out swinging on this one. I respect just the, like you said, different genres, different platforms, different characters, just in general. But I'm gonna have to go with my gut here, and my gut's telling me that Duck Hunt was one of my favorite games when I was a kid. Like that was like NES days. It was like Super Mario, Super Mario 3, but like Duck Hunt was way up there, right? Because it was on the same card as Super Mario Brothers. So like I put a ton of time into Duck Hunt. I love that
Oh
game.
yeah.
And even though that dog can be a bit of a dick, like you still gotta love him, right? Like it's a dog. Like dogs just, that's his nature, right? Like you can't change a dog's nature. So I'm gonna have to buy Duck Hunt Dog and just show some respect for the classic, uh, which is crazy because Goofy's one of my favorite characters. Um, so that's going to be my rent is Goofy, just because I've never gotten into the Kingdom Hearts series.
Okay.
Like Goofy as a character, it's himself. Whether it's Dreamlight Valley or one of the other games that Goofy's kind of appeared in, and usually Mickey takes center stage in those, and Goofy just kind of shows up. So just because you picked specifically Goofy from Kingdom Hearts, it's going to be a rent because it's one of those series that I'm always like,
Is there a Goof Troop
should I
game?
have?
Is there
Yeah,
another game with
yeah, there
Goofy's
is.
been like a main character, maybe,
There's a Goof Troop
or
game.
or a character? Because there's been a lot of Disney games, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
well, has there been like another one? But yeah,
Yeah, no, I do like I like the Kingdom Hearts. I like that you picked that, and that's gonna be my rent because I'd like to try it. I'd like to give Kingdom Hearts a go and just see what it's all about. Don't know if I'd buy it yet. Maybe after I rented it for a bit, it would turn into a buy. But I think that's a really good rent, and I think my return is gonna have to be Parappa the Rappa because I tried that game at a friend's house. I just kind of like, it was like, okay, it is what it is. It was an early pioneer of the music genre, but I think other games kind of took that and moved on. So never a mascot that I really associated with strongly. So that's going to be my return. Any Parappa the Rappa diehard fans, come at me. I just didn't own a PlayStation, so that's it. So they're my picks by
Okay.
that return.
Okay,
That's it
Parappa
for me.
Rappa, his crew's coming by, his posse. They're gonna go do a drive-by of your house, Mark. So be prepared for the
That's all
for
right.
the onslaught of the
Um,
the down south rap crew.
I'm I'm ready to go. What
Okay.
about you? What are you picking?
Oh, this is a tough one because my love for Kingdom Hearts kind of died with two.
Mm.
But Goofy was a good character because he was a support. He was doing what you needed. He was still goofy, but he was still doing really cool things you'd never seen Goofy do before. So, and the fact that they would give him different abilities and looks, like during like the Little Mermaid level, he was a tortoise under the sea. It's very cool. He had different cosmetics. It was always fun, and he had different support structures that actually helped you. So, I thought from a perspective, from a gameplay, I think he is the outstanding one in this field of characters. So I would say buy Goofy because I think he's useful. He's a good companion, and I love his names. Gosh, Mark! Oh my goodness, I'm gonna beat some ass.
That's a
So
good one.
you
I
like
like
that?
that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll break it out. I'll
All
break
right.
that out eventually in the future, maybe for some fun. But yeah, Goofy. You got it, man. From that point, though, Parappa the Rapper is probably my number two because it was a lot of fun. And it was just this weird, wacky. This is like almost respective of what PlayStation was doing in PlayStation 1, they put a lot of weird stuff on their consoles. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just like, oh, we're going to make this game about a rapping dog where he's his sensei, a rapping onion guy, telling him what to do. And it was just weird. And the raps were kind of odd. And it was the rhythm game. And I was never very good at it, but I always respected his game and the rap game, Parappa. I mean, he needs a remix tape. I mean, he needs to relaunch and come back because I think it's his time to be on TikTok doing all the things. So, and I think he should come back in some fashion because I think his time has been brought out. I mean, it's been like 20 plus years, Mark. I mean, that's like,
Been a
he's a
bit, yeah.
classic now.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Duck Hunt Dog, man. I mean, I did play him in Smash Bros, which was a lot of fun. I have the amiibo. I think I had the amiibo. I'm not sure if I still have it or not. But he is just, unless you feel like he's motivating you through hate and being barbs. I mean, other than that, I mean, he's just not a nice guy. I don't know. He's like the dog that poops on your lawn and like doesn't clean up, and his owner doesn't even clean up, and he doesn't ask him to. I don't
I
know.
mean, he'll still go after the ducks for you. He just also laughs if you miss one. Like, he's helpful. And a great character in Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, great Garrett character. But
Fantastic.
I'm just thinking from the fact from a video game that all he's doing there. I mean, people have nightmares of this dog taunting them. That's not helpful.
Yeah. No.
Oh God, yeah, good
Great
times. So
motivator.
so there you go. Yeah, I'm returning the Duck Hunt Dog. So folks, let us know your choices. Hopefully you agree or disagree. And you know what? This isn't probably the last animal focused Byron return we'll have. Can't guarantee we'll pick a species or a breed that you enjoy.
Yeah.
So with that, Mark, we're getting to what you plan. So just to give you a hint before you get what you're like, I did defeat Jedi Survivor, so you don't have to worry about spoilers. I am done with the game. So with that,
Okay.
I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Yeah. So that's the main thing I've been playing. I've been, dabbling a little bit here and there on different games back on my RG35XX. And, I shared the other day on Instagram, I was playing like an old Star Wars game, like episode 3 on GBA.
So was that good? I
That
mean,
one
is
was.
it
That was
just
pretty
fun
good.
or
Yeah.
was it good? Okay.
That was good. It
Okay.
was, yeah, that was a good game. Some of the other ones, not so much.
Sure. Okay.
There was one, oh shoot, what was it? I can't remember the name of it. Really tough to go back to. I don't know if it was good or bad back in the day, but like playing it now is just this weird. The camera angle was weird, and it was like an isometric view. Episode 3, the one that I've been playing, is like 2D side scroller, beat 'em up, switch between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and it's
Okay.
just fun. You power up, it's good stuff. But the reason I've been playing that is like anytime in between playing Jedi Survivor, I was still looking for some cool Jedi action. But yeah, I finished Jedi Survivor. I'm still playing it, which is crazy because I still have Tears of the Kingdom. Um, but I keep going back to Jedi Survivor because I want to get more stuff. I want to unlock more upgrades. I want to see parts of the map that I still haven't explored on several different planets. It's crazy how much this game has just sunk its teeth into me to distract me this much from a Zelda game. I mentioned that last time, and it's still the case this time where I've finished the darn game and I'm still going back. So Jedi Survivor, I'm going to go full spoilers. So if you haven't played the game, not like full spoilers, but like I'm going to hit on some story beats. So if you haven't played the game, if you're waiting for it, and if you don't want to hear anything, now's your chance to skip forward a little bit, and we'll come back. So 3, 2, 1, time's up. All right, Jedi Survivor. Holy crap! I was not expecting some of the stuff that happened in the story. So the twist of like this High Republic Jedi coming back, and you're fighting. He and his little minion fellow, or big minion fellow, and I thought that was going to be it. Like I thought you beat them. I did the final fight. It was tough. He's whipping me with one arm, and like there's crazy stuff. I thought that was going to be it, and you were going to kind of go back and like everything was going to be peachy. And it's like, we have to go back to this planet. We have to do this. And I'm like, maybe it's just kind of set up for like, you go back and they finally kind of all regroup and whatever. And then you get this plot twist of someone in your team being a traitor. And I was like, I didn't see that one coming. They completely threw me for a loop, completely set off a whole new path for the game to go down. New areas to explore, new like undercover in an Imperial was it the ISB facility, just insane stuff that I thought this game was done, and they hit me with all this kind of stuff. And you have to go after Bode, who has a daughter, and you can kind of feel the tension. Like I was feeling that in my soul of like, what would I do? I can't kill some guy in front of his daughter. How do you do that? And like, you kind of understand like he's a bit justified. Like that's the only thing that matters. And I can get that. But at the same time, like you want this to help other people in the galaxy, and you want him to kind of come around, and you confront him. And the moment of like even his daughter saying like, you know,
Daddy,
what, he's
stop.
lost.
Yeah.
You got to stop. Like they're trying so hard to bring him back around and to be like, we don't like, just cooperate with us. We can forgive you for killing these people or getting these people killed. Also, Seer's fight with Darth Vader. Holy
God. Playing as Seer Mark, she was amazing. I'm like, wow, insane. I want to play with her. She's so cool. I loved it. That was such a great fix there. I was like, wow, I love that.
Yep. So good. And just, yeah, man, she was just, but that fight with Darth Vader, just her whole section was incredible. And then like finding out that basically Bode got her and so many other people killed, and still having Cal and Marin say like, listen, man, we can forgive you. This is going to be okay. You just need to just lay down your weapon. We're going to figure this out. And, for even his daughter to accept like, nah, y'all got to kill him. Like he's gone.
And was she passed out when it all happened? Because that was the one part I couldn't figure out. Like, does she know what really happened to her dad? Because I thought she might have been knocked out.
She was
does
running.
She know that? Okay.
I think Marin just kind of grabbed her and took her out of the way. But I think I don't think she watched it go down exactly, but I think she was like cognizant of like,
because I thought Marin took her out of the cave area to protect her, so she may not have seen how he died.
Yeah, I don't know if she actually witnessed like
because Cal would have, because that would have been a tough conversation with like, oh, you killed my daddy. Sorry, we're still in spoilers, so that's okay.
No, we're still full spoiler. Yeah. I mean, I think she seems like she's a pretty smart kid. She seems like she knows what's going on, and she knew what they had to do.
Yeah.
Like, at no point in that did I watch it thinking that like she is going to try to avenge her dad. Like, she knows he's gone at
Yeah.
that point, and she just basically says like, I really hope you guys can do something, but you're probably going to have to kill him, is essentially like the vibe I got from her. And she didn't
Well, she
quite say
even
it
mentioned
like that,
like
but like,
daddy changed when mom passed.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so she
so that,
kind of knew it was up. And
yeah,
I mean, to your point, that's like they got to the point where they did the essentially the burning of the bodies, and she was
mhm,
there for that. And then they
yeah,
did follow up with her to actually talk to her and things. So I like the fact that they're not ignoring the elephant in the room, but they're also treating it with care, and
yeah,
they're hoping to say, we're not going to let you have to deal with all of these demons on
mhm.
your own, and we're here to help you deal with it, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, they basically just adopted this girl. So it's like Cal and Marin, who finally gave in to their feelings and
Thank
accepted it.
God.
And Cal finally said, you know what, the order is dead, the Jedi order is dead. I can still be a Jedi for the most part, but like, I can have attachments, I have them anyway. I love ya, you love me, let's make this work. And it's
Best
I thought
couple in
that was
Star
such
Wars,
a great,
man. I
man,
don't care what
such a
anybody says.
great moment.
They're the least dysfunctional of all the couples.
Yeah, and now they just suddenly have a kid together, who they've adopted from someone that they both killed as a team, which is so
Aw,
weird.
that's what
But
brings all couples together, Mark.
that's it. Yeah, Star Wars is about found family, however weird ways you find it.
Hey, you need a kid, kill
Um,
the parents.
that's it. I thought this was such an excellent Star Wars story and an excellent game. They improved every part of it. I think I talked about this before. The
Yeah.
combat traversal, there's so much stuff, but the story was like, last time I didn't want to say any spoilers or really get into it that much, but um, holy crap, man, this was
I,
great.
and I don't know where they're going next, but it was funny because I was talking
Yeah,
to Sean Nias, he's in the throes. I'm like, oh, you've got a good 15 to 20 hours left, Sean. So keep
okay,
going. And it makes me think that like I don't truly know where this game is going, but we both kind of shared that with Cal surviving, it gets you to think of like, is it time to now incorporate him into the mythology even further? Because it just can't be a scenario where like if he's so involved with rebellion to say
hmm,
that no one had ever heard of him, and he's obviously more advanced than Luke is, and Obi-Wan's the only other one that's really, you know, of a power. So I'm like, I'm
right,
curious if they're going to incorporate him, because I would hate to say like, oh, and he died or he was never seen again. That's why you never saw. So I would love to have him be involved in something in the future, because he's what,
yeah,
25 at this point,
no,
and it's
if
what,
that,
is it how many years before? I mean, and it's like, is this like 5 years before episode 4,
yeah,
3?
we're creeping up on probably Obi-Wan territory at this point, because they're talking about, so this is, they're talking about the hidden path, so they don't really. And that's the neat thing about this is the hidden path stuff so far has only really been dabbled in the Obi-Wan TV show. And we got the name
Mm-hmm.
drop of another Jedi in there is Quinlan Voss. And we don't see him really pop up
Mm-hmm.
in the sequels or the original trilogy or anything else. So if Cal's focus is on getting people through the hidden path, going to this secret planet that the
Which is
Empire
hidden
can't
from everyone else. So
find,
he's essentially hidden. No one else knows about it. So they could be,
you
but
yeah,
yeah,
you could really take him out of the original trilogy of even, the path got cut off or something like that. He's trapped on this planet and he comes back and
has no
Rey's
clue
building
what's
their
going. It's like
school or
one. It's
something. And
no
yeah,
no feedback to say things are worse now, or
yeah.
yeah, we need your help. Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that they could do. Same kind of thing that they've done with Ahsoka, which is like she's been there, but she's been in the periphery. If the big battle's over here, she's way the hell off in the outer rim, doing whatever with Thrawn and Ezra and all that kind of stuff that we're going to find out in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
So there's ways to, I think, integrate Cal into live action stuff, which I'd love to see, but also really explain away any kind of story because they're going the hidden path route rather than he's another Jedi helping the rebellion, helping the rebels, helping build this up. He's not with the Ghost crew. He's not with Ahsoka. He's not
No.
doing that kind of stuff. They're all zigging this way, and he is zagging in a very, very different direction, but an important one nonetheless, over with, again, like Quinlan Voss and the people that were hinted at and kind of referenced in the Obi-Wan show, but we really haven't gone down that path too much. So really, really interesting. They could go anywhere with the next one because, again, they're technically really in a very different part of the galaxy than most of the stuff we've seen.
Yeah, and at the point of the character himself, the actor, if they said he does show up in like the Ahsoka time frame of like the new shows post Jedi, it's like what 10 extra years. So he doesn't have to worry about looking like, oh, he looks that much older. He's a good looking guy and he ages well, and say he shows up and it's like he shows up. That would be cool. I would love it. I would think that's great. It's like, oh, another great Jedi, and Marin shows up, and that adds an extra level of cool characters that were part of that mythos from Clone Wars and stuff that I really dig to show up as well and be a continuation of it. And she's on her own, and I like that. And the fact that then maybe they have a Jedi baby, Mark. 10 years later.
I mean, and Bode's daughter is potentially Force sensitive. He was a Jedi that kept it secret. So you have a Night Sister and a Jedi with a potentially Force sensitive adopted child, and then they could have their own and have, like they could be two students at Rey's new school, and you just kind of hear about Cal and Marin in passing, or kind of see them and they can age the actors up or do whatever they want to. Because at that point they'd be kind of fairly old, right? But like, there's a lot to do with that character and this like kind of growing family.
Do you know what is the actress who plays Marin? Does she look at all like Marin? Is she like
very much so? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that even better. Then and then Grease can show up because he's a CGI character, and then he's a good guy, and he's just the and then BD1 shows up because we love him. So yeah, I love it.
Yes, absolutely. So this is so far. I need to get back into Tears of the Kingdom, and I put that on my list, but I've only played a little bit more, just kind of exploring around more, doing a couple of shrines that I found. I got like the horses back, so I got my Epona and the horses that I had from the first.
Have you used any of the amiibo yet?
I have, yeah. I was just gonna. That was the next kind of thing. I scanned in my amiibo, got some, a couple of outfits and stuff, a couple of pieces here and there, but for the most part, I've just been messing around and building things and trying weird stuff and just exploring different corners. I haven't really progressed the story much, and that's because I've been so distracted by Jedi Survivor. So far, Jedi Survivor is like my game of the year. But as I get more into Tears of the Kingdom, I'm expecting that to kind of pass it. But story-wise, I don't know if Tears of the Kingdom is going to have it over Survivor, because that's not the game that they're going for. I don't think they're going for deep story narrative in Tears of the Kingdom, rather than like build your own narrative as you explore, right? So
yeah, and I have my contrarian son, who's right there. So we had a great conversation about Tears of the Kingdom last night, which is great because he's so far deep, and he is like talking about the story beats that he loves. So, and I'm like a little struggling with inconsistency of like, oh, they do like 3 lines of voice acting, and then it's back to like no voice acting and the weird grunts and moans that sound a little bit, as Sean had pointed out, it sounds a little sexual, some of those moans, Mark. So it's a weird decision in regards to like, I mean, and obviously it comes down to probably paying the voice actors, localization, all that stuff, so they don't want to do it for every actor. Totally get that. But in the cutscenes, it does feel a little weird when it's like they have a cutscene and it's like it just stops, but the rest of the cutscene is like weird, just reading text. So it's a little disconcerting. But one last thing before Jedi Survivor. So are you going? One of the things, my regrets, I'm probably not going. I actually sent the game back. My regrets is I didn't get to do more of the bounty hunter missions, which I felt like that is what's giving BD1 all of the extra upgrades, and that character is awesome. So are you doing more of those?
Yep. I've been hunting down several bounty hunters as I explore more of the world. I took 2 of them out the other night, like in a row, very quick succession. And it's fun. That's what I mean by like exploring more and delving more in, upgrading both myself and like Cal and BD. And there's a lot more to do. It's crazy.
Okay. Last question on Jedi Survivor. Did you get the Rancor?
Yes.
because that was one of the first things I did in the game when I got there and I got destroyed. I
Yep.
said I would go back and I didn't. And so did you kill the Rancor?
I did, yes.
Okay, good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good to go early on in the game because you will
No.
get one hit kill.
Yeah,
Or
no,
one
it
hill,
is tough.
one hit chomped, I guess,
And
eaten.
I still haven't gone back to. So I went back and got the Rancor, but I haven't gone back to
Old
the
googly
giant
eyes
frog
frogman.
stupid thing that
Yeah,
again one shots you.
the terror of of the
Yeah,
first Jedi game. Yeah,
yeah. Found that thing and it chomped me, and I was like, well, shit.
nope.
I guess I'm not going back there. And I still I should, because I haven't gone back since like really really early on in that game.
Got it. Yeah, it was. I love some of those touchstones that are still there. So, and it's great because if you really love the game, like we were talking about, it's like if you don't want to leave the game, you don't have to, which is great. There's so much more to do. It doesn't shut it off once you finish the game, which I appreciate. And there's those tears in the Jedi fabric where you go in and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, there's a billion clone like bots and all these things, and you have to finish it within a certain time. Like those are fun little challenges, which are great too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff just hidden around, and like I finished this game in about 35 hours, and that's with a decent amount of like
Yeah.
exploring and stuff while I was playing it. But like I really think I could put another 20 to 30 hours into this exploring. Like it seems like it's pretty meaty.
It seems like a game that EA would be silly not to offer more content for, considering it's 3 to 4 or whatever more years until the next one, and they left it open ended. We don't know where it's going, but it would be cool if they did like an expansion to it, which would be a lot of fun. I could see them doing that because that world where you're at, it seems like there's more mysteries and more things to explore.
You're spoiling something I'm going to predict later.
Oh no, I will stop.
It's all right.
My goodness. Okay, well, we'll move on. So, Tears of the Kingdom. So, like, I mean, if you had to predict, because, like, right now with Nintendo, after a week, you can see how many hours you've got in the game. So, Mark, are you saying where would you say you're at? Like, under 5?
No, I'd say closer to like 10 to 12
Okay,
hours, maybe.
got it. I think it said I was at 16 in the game.
Okay. Yeah.
I have not beaten a temple. I have gone underground. I have not done a ton of shrines, and I have unlocked 2 of the towers, which
Okay. All right.
do the towers because the only thing,
Yeah.
the benefit it does is explores the terrain, opens some things up, and I am on the path to go to my first major village, to go to my first temple, which is the flying people. I'm going to them. I found them. And that's about the only way you can get to them is through one of those towers, because to get there, you don't have enough stamina and you don't have enough battery power to fly there with the device. So, and that's kind of my path. And my only recommendation in this game is get all of your key powers and get some gear that helps you survive the cold. That's the only thing I'll tell you. Without that stuff, you're going to not enjoy yourself and you'll feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel listless. They give you some points to and I think that's a point of the game is they give you more direction than the last game did, but there's so much more to do in this game that it can feel overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Mark, have you met the sign man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Twice.
That's the most ridiculous fun thing in the world. And I was going around my neighborhood. I was walking the dog, and I saw someone's. And I put this on social media. You might have saw it.
I did.
Where a guy had in real world, he has his mailbox, but instead of just replacing the post, he's putting all these like things to fix it and to keep it up. And I'm like, that's exactly what I do for all these signs in Tears of the Kingdom. That I'm like, Link's been here.
Yeah. The last one I did was I let Finn guide me on the build, and he wanted to add wheels, which did not work. And that was a fun just letting him. I was like, okay, we have to help this guy make the sign stand up. And I showed him, and the guy dropped the sign. So I said, what can we do? And I just grabbed a piece of wood and I kind of threw it in there. I was like, what else can we add? And he's like, oh yeah, wheels. It's like, we how about I build a cart after we fix this sign? He's like, nah, wheels. Yep. Yeah. So it took me a little while to fix the second sign that I found, but we fixed that. Then I dismantled it and we built a cart with the wheels and had some fun. So he's been helpful ish.
I have been saying that I'm really giving up on any creations for mobility until I can get a steering wheel. There is a steering wheel. I've seen it.
Yeah.
There's shocks in this game to build like almost like a fully functional vehicle at Ford. I'm assuming Mark, Ford
Yeah.
should partner with Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo, and say, here's your Ford designed like Mach E in all of those mechanics. Right, Mark?
Yes, absolutely. I had a motorcycle in the first game. It's going to be a Mustang Mach-E in this one. And the E stands for Epona.
Exactly. It looks like a horse. It's great because Mustangs and horses, it just works together. I know they did that in like, what was it? Corporations were like funding and making their islands in Animal Crossing. So I think corporations just need to make their own designs, partner with Nintendo. I don't think people get mad like if it was like, oh, here's a McDonald's, here's here's Cadillac, here's this, and yeah, why
I'd
not?
like to see. We had was it Mercedes in Mario Kart 8?
Oh yeah, that's right. They did all those weird
Yeah,
like
done some
cross
stuff.
promotions. It was very odd, but
It's fun.
it's fun. I think people enjoy it in this mode. Um, it's a really, and I get frustrated with the game. I get so frustrated, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done with this game. I hate it, and then I'm like, oh, I'll go back and play. I'm like, oh, I'm finding the fun again. So it's weird because Logan's recommendations are to me are frustrating at times, but he knows how to play the game. I am less attuned, and he's like, don't get hearts, Dad, get stamina. But I'm like, I'm getting one shot hit by the lamest dude in the world. He goes, well, get better.
Get good. It is a tough balance between
Yeah.
hearts and stamina, though, especially early on. Like you don't want to get one shotted by a thing with a slingshot or something, but like at the same time, you also want to be able to climb it. It is tough.
If you got killed by an Octorok just like out of the blue, I mean, it's like, is that your legacy? The hero of champions? And killed that way? It's like, oh God, he died on the toilet like Elvis.
Yeah.
That's your legacy?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So, do you have a favorite like power up or ability so far?
It's gonna sound basic, but I think Master Hand. As much as I thought the Ascend would be, so far a lot of it's just been kind of open field, right? Like a lot of where I've been
Yeah.
exploring has been open field. So I haven't used that Ascend. I use it in like a shrine or whatever, but yeah, I love how goofy it is combining things and just grabbing things and being like, okay, you stick to you and you're sticking over here. And it's like you can get a 3-year-old designing a car. And it's just great. We built this ridiculous 3-wheeled car and it was hilarious and Finn had a good time and I just started sticking stuff together and again, no steering wheel. So I just like point it in the best direction and hoped for the best. And it's so fun. What about you?
Um, I would agree because the fuse part is pretty limited because you have to have a weapon that's there plus something that you can apply it to. And some of those are fun. But you realize, oh, half the time you make a mistake and you're like, oh, I fused it. You can't unfuse. So that's kind of frustrating. And some of the abilities like in your shield, like that can get more creative with your shield because you could put like, I heard people they eventually get a spring. They get different things where it's like, oh, you can move people back or you can do different things. I've had a shield that has a fire blast. So when you put the shield on, it shoots fire, which is a kind of a cool, like, oh, it's offensive versus that, but that it runs out. But yeah, I haven't found too much excitement yet in the fuse. It does add, it fixes the durability for a lot of people, I think, which is great. Yeah. Let's see. And the arrow fuse is the greatest thing in the world because it's so fast. It's so easy. It's so intuitive. And I wish that fusing was more like that, but it's not. But it's still the greatest. It's like, oh, I want a bomb. I want this. I want that. And you can just do it so intuitively, which is great. Send, yeah, to the point it's like, yeah, it seems like it's more of a of the time. I don't find something in combat where it would be useful. The time reversal, I'm struggling with that one because it feels like by the time I can get to it and use it, like my device that I sent off into the wild with all of the engines is already gone. I can't get back. It's like, oh, I can't reach it. So it feels like it's if it was a little bit more like, boom, I got it, boom, I can return it. It would be more useful because I've seen how people use it, like returning projectiles. And I'm like, I haven't found my path to do that yet effectively. Maybe I will. I haven't got any of the abilities yet that are tied to the temples yet, but I know they're going to come. And I'm assuming that's going to be very similar to the champions. So no spoilers there. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I have some. I found a set of like warm weather gear that Logan doesn't even have, and it's like worth a lot. So I'm like, I feel like I've won in a lot of ways. So I'm like, hey, I did something that he didn't. Woo! And that's part of the thing. It's like everybody has a story to tell in this game, and that's part of the fun. Like, I'm going to Rito Village, but you could go to one of 4 different like main points if you wanted to. So it's really everyone's story is going to be the same. So hopefully everybody finds a story that's really compelling to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, this game will not end for anybody anytime soon because it's like 80 hours is like the average I've seen for people that have reviewed the game. So, and that's probably them being focused to make sure they're showing everything. For those of us who are more laissez-faire, I don't know how long this will take. I was like 80 hours in Breath of the Wild, Mark. I don't know how long it took you to beat Breath of the Wild.
I was over 100 by the time I finished. By the time I like did the final boss thing, I think I was over 100 or maybe just under 100. By the time I was kind of like ready to put the game down, I was inching closer to 2.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah. I might be playing this for a bit.
Yeah. And I didn't find Terrytown in the first game, so I'm kind of a loser. Didn't do the bowling thing. Yeah, so I missed a lot. I know I did, and I kind of wished in this game, where in the first game, Breath of the Wild, part of the DLC packs, they showed like your path of everywhere you've gone, and they showed it on a map. I just wish that was part of the game now, so I could see it like, oh, I missed this part right now. So I feel like it's. I mean, but I know that's incentive to go back. So, oh wait. This coming in from my son, who's talking to me from the background. What did you say?
It is.
He's saying it is in the game. Oh, that's right. It is in the game.
Because I have seen a couple of like here's.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I went, so
okay, so I missed that. So thank you, Nintendo. You listened to Todd. They just did it right now as we were talking, Mark. I can tell. Okay, so very good. So if you guys are playing Tears of the Kingdom, let us know your thoughts because this is a big game to chew on, especially as new games are coming out. All right, Mark. Well, myself, along with those games, I've been playing a few others. So, and I think this game will be of interest to you. It's called Cassette Beasts. It's come out on Xbox Game Pass. It was on PC earlier. Now it's on actual console. And if you're looking on YouTube, it's actually my background. This game should speak to you, Mark. This is a Pokemon game that is not a Pokemon game. It is it's a cool mix of HD 2D, similar to the Square Enix games they've been doing, which is very fun. It's really cool. And it's taking like the Pokemon trope, but you're a kid, girl, you can choose whoever you want to be. You can pick all of your things on your character creation that travels to this world. And that's how it opens up. And you're trapped with this whole town who's trapped. They're saying, hey, welcome to our town. Bad news is you're trapped here. And but part of our culture is we capture these beasts, these on cassettes, which is the weirdest part in the world. So it's dealing with almost like tapes that you use. And that's part of the aesthetic. So you can record them to capture them. So instead of Pokeballs, you've got tapes, Mark, cassettes. And within that, you can play, rewind different things, or you can choose your abilities of your characters. So it's the Pokemon or these in this world cassettes, it's very much like a Pokemon aesthetic. So like fire, water, air types. And you've got a companion along with you. And the whole point is you aren't you when you actual attack. You're actually assuming the form of one of these beasts. So, and your companion is as well. So you've got a companion with you who's doing that. And then you can also along the way summon a previous beast you fought as a third playable character in this turn-based RPG. And then you've got different aesthetics. You can bring in like items and different things. So it's a mixture of like Final Fantasy RPG plus Pokemon. And it's pretty fun. And I could see where somebody who loves this genre would love it. As, you know, there's maybe not a new Pokemon to play. This could be fun. And people that are only on Xbox could also experience it. And this game, I think, is perfect for cloud streaming. I think it's because it's turn-based. It's not a Twitch game. So I think it's a lot of fun. I love the aesthetics. It's very cute. The beasts are very fun. And they're very cute. I mean, it follows the Pokemon trend very well. But there's another layer to this game. It feels like Undertale. It's a little creepy at times. So you meet this like demon monster in the underground as you're exploring like the overworld and doing things like that. And then this character pops up and basically says, I'm a demon and we have to battle. So we do. And then we take her down. And she says, oh, but if you want to return back to your world and I want to return back to my demon world, I can help you. And the whole village return back where they're, because everyone's trapped. So it's kind of like you're making a deal with the devil and you don't know if that's going to be it, but it feels like Undertale in the way they treat it, in the way it's kind of creepy. So I was surprised when I saw it. I'm like, I had no clue that was part of it. And I'm like, that's pretty neat. So it's adding a layer of complexity that I don't think Pokemon has something like that. And a lot of people like that Undertale aesthetic. It's a little indie and a little edgy to the Pokemon mechanics. So it's almost like taking Pokemon and saying, hey, let's make it a little different with a different audience, especially people that are into Undertale and some of those other type of games. So I would check it out because I found a lot there that was really cool. And I think just even streaming it, Mark, I think you'll know very quickly. And I think it will work streaming very well. And you'll know if it's well worth it or not. And I don't know the depth of Pokemon, things like that. But there's also another mechanic where you actually fuse with your partner into a unique collaborative, unique beast, which is kind of cool too. So it's a neat. I really respect what they did. And I was looking at the developer. They made a game previously, and the developer is called Byton Studios. And in 2020, they made a game called Lena's Inception. It's very much a Link to the Past type game.
Oh.
So I think they know that type of Nintendo heritage, and it's very good. It's got great Steam reviews, and it looks like the old game, Lena Inception, looks like a Link to the Past. So it seems like they're just leaning into that, and the game's only like $10 on Steam, and it might be even cheaper. And this game, if you want to buy it, I think it's like $20 if you don't want to just play on Game Pass. And it's cool, and the cutscenes are beautiful. They're like anime, very well done, and it's neat. And the music's actually has a soundtrack with like human vocals and things like that too. So there's a lot here. So I definitely check it out.
Very cool.
And then lastly, Humanity is a game that just came out. Humanity is a game by the Tetris. Is it Tetris Effects? Tetris. I'm blanking on it. It's the most recent version of Tetris.
Tetris Effect.
That's been on like Xbox and things like that. Yep. They've made many different games. Their style is very, I don't even know how to put it. It's just weird, and they're very. They set a mood, and the most recent game is. I'm just looking at this who the developer is, and unfortunately, with a name like Humanity, it doesn't bring back like the SEO is bad for a game because it's just like humanity, the study of humans, and things like that. So Humanity is developed by that game company or that limited edition. They've made many other games, Tetris Effect, a few others, Luminous, and this game. It's the best way to put it, and it's on PS Plus Extra right now for free. If you own that service, you get this game. It's on PS Plus Extra for PS4 and PS5, and also PS5 and VR2. And the best way to describe this game is it would be like Lemmings and Echochrome. So Echochrome was like a weird game where it would play on PlayStation Vita and PSP, where it would play with like almost like in a Geiger, not Geiger, Escher as well, like dealing with like 3D views and what goes up, what goes down. And the Lemmings aesthetic of it is you're a Shibu Inu, the dog, and you're leading humans, like just in place of lemmings, you've got humans, and you have to lead them to a place to go up to heaven. And they go up like a rapture, I guess is the best way to put it. So you're leading humans to the rapture, Mark, in this game. And that's the main goal. The cool part is you are not actually hurt by having humans die along the way. So it's not the number of humans. You don't have to, it's like a continuous feed. So we've got too many humans. And along the way, you have to, the big part becomes like these things called goldies, which are like big golden idols to a sense that you have to lead. And if you get the goldies there, it unlocks different abilities. So it's getting humans there, but the goldies are the big part that unlocks different abilities and things, which are well worth it along the way. And it's so cool because you can change the terrain. You get different abilities, like telling the humans which direction to go. You can make them jump. Make them a long jump, high jump. And I've only gotten to the beginning of it. I beat the tutorial and went from there. It's crazy, but it is one of those games that's like that one more round to figure it out, because maybe I want, instead of just only getting one Goldie, I want two Goldies, because Goldies give you the extra abilities. And what they can do, they let you rewind time, move the level around from a different perspective to say, did I miss something? And it's really cool. I mean, it's a mind bender, and I've heard on VR too, it's amazing. Like, because you're actually in the level, overseeing like a god and moving things around in real time. So it's really well done. And just when you start seeing the mass of humanity and the way the DualSense gives you feedback and the sound, it's really immersive. So I was really impressed by it. So I don't know if it's like the game to get for PSVR 2 right now, but it is something that makes another recommendation because it's one more game going there.
Right. You're definitely right with the SEO kind of thing, because I even typed in Google humanity game, and only 3 out of the top 10 image results showed me images from this game. The rest are Cards Against Humanity, the game.
Exactly. That was the part. I'm like, because I was thinking maybe I'll do a GIF background for my background here so you can see the craziness. But I'm like, I couldn't find enough there to find a GIF even. Yeah.
Yep. Well, sounds interesting though.
It definitely is. I'm not big into like the puzzle games like that. I give up very quickly. I'm like, I get what they're going for, and I move on. I don't know if I'll go back to it or not. But even I was talking to Sean Nias, and it's like they're digging the game. Like Henry's digging it. So it seems like a game that really will open your mind to how to solve a problem, because it is that way. It's like, okay, I can solve it this way, but I also have to solve it this way. And sometimes it's 4 directions of traffic that you have to figure out how to get your humans and the goldies together. And there's going to be push mechanics. I've seen, Mark, where they've got lightsabers where the humans have to fight each other and they have to fight other things. It's just weird, but it's cool. It's just, it's cool. Unique. It's a unique game. So this is why we play, to see these weird things. So check out Humanity, especially if you have PS Plus Extra, because you get it for free.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what we've been playing, folks. If you've been playing something else that we should check out, let us know. But now it's time to get to the bonus round, Mark. And it's really gaming showcase season. Some things we know about, some things are still TBD. We talked about last week on our PlayStation showcase, kind of like what we thought of the PlayStation show. And Mark, you weren't able to be on the show because you had limited time. You're like, Todd, I don't have 80 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to go long. And you were right. We went 80 minutes to talk about the PlayStation Showcase because there was a lot there, good and bad. So with that, really quick, before we get into the rest of these showcases that are going to come out, what were your takes from the PlayStation Showcase? Did you think it was enough to get people like yourself to get into PlayStation?
I thought overall it was a really good showcase. I thought there was a lot of CG, a lot of trailers that really didn't show to me like enough. show me a little bit of gameplay, or that's when you could have interjected with a person. They only really had a person talking a couple of times for very limited amount of stuff. It was kind of like, hey, we know you want some trailers, so here it is. And then at the end, it was just kind of like, thanks for watching. We have one more. So I think there are a few that were like CG trailers, pretty vague, and they could have had someone like just come up and say like, hey, Concord is going to be this type of game. That's neat. But otherwise I thought it was a pretty strong showing. I thought, obviously Spider-Man 2 looks absolutely incredible. I freaked out when Bungie announced a new marathon game because I played the original like
Oh yeah,
300 years
you're a Mac
ago.
guy. I mean,
I'm a
that's
Mac.
that. And what was the other game that they had back in the day? Was it Myth? Was the other Bungie game?
Yeah, no, Myth
That was
was.
like their turn. That was like their RPG game, or
Yeah, I never
was it a
played that one.
strategy
I
game?
did play
Yeah.
Marathon though. Yeah.
Okay.
But I thought they had some really really cool looking stuff. I'm glad Beat Saber's finally on PlayStation VR 2. It kind of like that's what people look like or look for. It's one of those staples of VR that people are like, Beat Saber. I heard that was neat. Um, I thought there was something for everyone here. It was a really impressive showcase. I loved, again, aside from here and there, a couple of little things where I would have liked something accompanying like a real CG trailer. I thought just having an hour and 10 minutes of trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer was amazing. I don't want a talking head the whole time, maybe here and there interjected, but like, holy crap, man, they just brought it out. Like every single one of my notes was like from something as simple as like Cat Quest. I was like, hell yeah, I love the first Cat Quest game. That's great. And
What was it
Pirates
called?
of the
Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Come on, man.
My son loves those games. He
And,
is eating those
yeah,
games up. They're so cute.
yeah, amazing. To like just what was the one that was like just crazy. Oh man, that's like crazy world building and the animals that you can check out. Like, oh man, I can't remember what it was
There's like a
called.
Towers of Agabash. There was that one that was like
There's
a world
and then the
building.
Tower of Fantasy I thought looked really good too. But I think Towers of Agabash. I think that's
That
the
was
one.
like you were like in you had a glider. You had to build a town. And
That's the one. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking of. But I thought like and then Tower of Fantasy because I was like two tower games kind of caught my interest. Neat. I love that they showed off more about the Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, so I won't. But I thought overall this was a great showing, and while it didn't necessarily, aside from Spider-Man, make me say like, "Damn, I need a PS5 in my life." Um, like it was a really really good showcase.
It's good to hear. Yeah, because I mean, we when the three of us talked, we were kind of like at the time we didn't have much time to digest it, which is
Yeah.
so frustrating over time. And I liked what I saw from a overall view of PlayStation. The only thing I'm worried about, Mark, is, and I think you kind of get this too, because there's only so many games as service games that can exist, and I worried about Sony leaning too into this because
Yeah.
outside of Spider-Man, there were no games shown from a first party that were not games of service for 2025. So it's like, or
Yeah.
2024 even. It's like, so what am I going to be playing if I don't want to get into, a heist and extraction type, like those multiplayer games?
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay. And then there's been rumors about Sony is only going to put out 2 first party, like big AAA games a year. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, so what am I getting next year? And they haven't even told us. But I have heard rumors. So this is coming out the thing that Colin Moriarty and others have said that actually they've heard from PlayStation. There's going to be another showcase like coming in August that's going to actually talk about what's coming in 2024 from like the
Oh, interesting.
main meat of what Sony fans expect. So
Okay.
if that's good, I'd like that because I do feel like outside of Spider-Man, Wolverine got no love. Nobody else.
Mhm.
There's not a new the Uncharted or sorry the Last of Us Factions game actually has been delayed and they even called that
Okay.
out. So it's like ooh. So it feels like as a PlayStation fan, it's like I'd like to know what's coming out in 2024, please, and or 2023.
Yeah.
No, 2024. My years are getting messed up, Mark. I'd like to know what's coming out in 2024, like at least till
In
May,
the
so I
next
know what I'm
year, yeah.
buying.
What can I play in the next year? That's kind of
Yeah,
what the thing is. And that's what I thought. Like it was a lot, like you said, a lot of like hero shooters or like the Splatoon ripoff, the like, there was a lot of stuff like that, like the foam game or whatever. And like just that kind of stuff. Or again, CG trailers where it's like, if you're just showing me a quick CG trailer, is this game going to be ready before 2026?
yeah, yeah.
At this
How
point.
can I get
So it's like,
excited when I have no clue what I'm doing in the game?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I thought there was a little mix of that. Like I thought they could have maybe done like a solid half hour, 45-minute kind of thing and cut out some of that stuff that, I think needed either more explanation or didn't need to be shown at all. But like overall, I thought it was good.
yeah. Because I mean, you think of like the games. It's like, okay, Bungie. They're new to Sony. This is the official first showing of a
Yeah.
Bungie where they're under Sony, and it's like in this game, the marathon game. Like, okay, that trailer looked cool, but it's like it's trailer. It's like there's no. And like I thought they would be the one to bring forward like the meat to say, hey, we know how to do this. If anybody's going to do this at Sony, it's us. And it's
Yeah.
also coming to Xbox though, so that's the big thing. Bungie has said we're going to say independent, and that's cool. So everybody, that means that game will get the biggest audience it can, which is perfect. But just show me what I'm doing because I know Bungie can do the gameplay great. Yeah,
And for stuff like that, like it was really weird to watch this and see no mention of Microsoft or anyone else, because Microsoft will usually be pretty good to throw other logos in there, especially now where they're
yep.
really trying to be like, we play fair. This is coming to PlayStation. This is coming to a toaster. Here's this on Nintendo Switch. Here's what we're gonna do if
Or
this,
first, they usually say first
Activision
on
thing comes
Xbox,
to
or they'll say
first on
exclusive.
Xbox or whatever.
Sony didn't do that, and then after why, you saw the tweet from Xbox. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, those games that PlayStation was showing, 12 of those are coming to Xbox as well, and some of those
Yeah.
might even be on. Well, I don't know if any will be on Game Pass because of the weird like symbiotic relationship, but at least it's like if you're an Xbox fan, you got a lot to look forward to, including like Metal Gear and all these others. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
more games.
Yeah, so I thought it was weird, like watching it from that point of view of like Xbox is playing such a different game right now, mostly because they want this merger to go through or this acquisition of Activision, Blizzard, whatever. Uh, and so they're really like everything's coming to everything. We're the best, and Sony's just kind of like screw you hippies. Like we're still pretending everything's an exclusive, even if it's not. So it's such a weird game
Yeah, you
that.
can't even look at like the fine print on the screen when it shows it for like, is this gameplay? Is this engine? Whatever, we don't know. So yeah, I would say overall most people are a little underwhelmed. The Sony hardcore at this point, a little underwhelmed by what they saw. And if we do get another showcase at the end of the year, that would be great because like once again, I want to know what my PlayStation 5 is going to give me in 2024 other than just what everybody else is getting. So with that, Mark, we have, and I put this down below, as far as we know right now, this is what we're getting for game showcases. Summer Game Fest, June 8th. Jeff Keighley's big showcase. And I couldn't even go through the list of the companies that are supporting this, but it's huge. And the big hitters, including Xbox and PlayStation, are there. Nintendo is not supporting this, apparently, what they're saying. Then we have the Xbox showcase, followed by the Starfield showcase on June 11th. And I believe, I couldn't find it, isn't there like a follow-up showcase as well? Like it's more deeper dives and things like that with developers?
Oh,
I
could
thought there
be.
was, because they've done that before. Where
That's
like,
ringing a
oh,
bell.
by the way, here's more time with, and this is like a deep dive on this game, this guy. I couldn't find it though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Ubisoft Forward, June 12th. And then Nintendo is TBD. Devolver Digital will show up eventually. We know that. Other than that, I think they have developed the developers. The Summer Games Fest has a list of all the big showcases, anyways, if you want to see it. But as of right now, this is what I'm tracking to. So with that, we're gonna basically, Mark and I have kind of gone through and always said the 3 criteria for these game showcases. What you expect to see, kind of like, hey, we think these are coming. What we want to see, meaning like it could be totally a surprise or unexpected, and then what do we not want to see. So some of the, I don't know what the best way to say this, Mark. It's almost like the things that are known knowns that you don't have to show us. Like if a game is coming out a week before, don't
Yeah.
show me. Like Street Fighter 6 or
Yep.
Halo or like Diablo. Don't show us that, or Final Fantasy 16, which at PlayStation Showcase, holy crap, how much time did they waste by showing that in Street Fighter? They didn't need to do it. So that's what I'm talking about. So that's where we're at with these showcases. So we have the Summer Games Fest, Xbox, and Ubisoft event. And then if we have anything for Nintendo, even though no showcase is actually known at this point. By the way, Mark, with Nintendo, the last 3 years, how often have they had a June timeframe event? Do you know offhand?
No, not offhand, but I would say 3 years. Like they've hit it at least two out of the three, but um, yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean,
I
other
would
than just like random
imagine
tweets and
every
things like that, or yeah, I mean, so we don't know.
year.
It's not always guaranteed outside of the E3 actually being in effect if Nintendo will have their own event at that time. So let's say if they are, we'll talk about it. If not, then it didn't happen and we'll go from there. So let's start with there. So Mark, what you expect to see, we'll go through there and we'll hit that first.
For which
Summer
one?
Games Fest.
Okay. From Summer Games Fest, so I just kind of looked through the full list of what's going to happen, and for Summer Games Fest in general, I think we're going to see Activision come through there, and maybe a little bit of like the Microsoft. Again, I think they're going to just keep pushing hard that like they want to support new platforms, they want to go do this and this and this if the deal goes through. Like I think that's going to be kind of a big public showcase because so far a lot of it's just been like in the courts or in like hardcore people following the news. But I think the Summer Games Fest, maybe not quite as much as E3, but kind of getting there. I think that's the time where the public kind of can take a look at it. It might show up in like a local paper or at least a normal newspaper or website that like everyone would kind of read, like your parents might read. So like I think this is going to be the time for them to show off like we're playing nice. You know what I mean? Like that's what I expect to see from Summer Games Fest from that side. I'm not going to go through everyone. I'll leave it at that for now. From Activision
Oh,
slash
you don't want to go
Microsoft.
through the 40 plus studios showing up?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so for myself, for Summer Games Fest, I'm expecting we're going to see Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay. We got the trailer, which if you've seen the trailer, folks, it's not for kids. It's disgusting. But this is essentially bringing us back. It's killing everybody, and it's starting over from scratch with which is it Kung Lao essentially taking place of Raiden as the god for the studio. So essentially they're starting over. And we do have some announcements with like Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to be a playable character as Johnny Cage. We're also hearing that it's going to be like Homelander is going to be a character. We're also going to get
Yep.
Omni-Man from that. And I can't remember the other characters, but that's what I love about Mortal Kombat. So I think that's what we're going to see there is gameplay and also maybe playable characters from different universes.
Cool.
I think we'll see Kojima. I don't know what he's going to be propping up
Fair bet.
because we know he has a deal with Microsoft for a some type of cloud game or something like that. Other than that, we don't know what he's doing. He's also doing Death Stranding 2, but I don't know if I don't know if that's a PlayStation IP if he owns it or not. So it may not show up here, but I think Kojima's going to do something there with Jeff. And I think Call of Duty will show up here. Rather than with PlayStation, rather than with Xbox, I think Call of Duty shows up here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they need. I'm expecting this to be like Activision, Microsoft being like Call of Duty is going to be on Switch this
Independent.
year. Call of Duty is
Yeah.
going to be here. This is where you pay attention to like, here's what Microsoft is going to bring to Call of Duty, and let's make sure this goes because otherwise, maybe Activision just doesn't do this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the showcase of like, we're already seeing Microsoft support, hoping this merger goes through and this is what it's bringing. Like I think there's going to be the big public showcase of why they think this merger is a good thing.
Yeah. I think in making it like agnostic to a console owner's
Yep.
showcase makes sense because I mean, even though PlayStation I think still has a marketing deal with Activision for Call of Duty, I think it's the best place to play it there, have it there, and to say, hey, the next Call of Duty. Although at this point, I assume there's a Call of Duty this year. I know there's been talks about they would take a year off, but maybe it's next year. All right, Mark. Xbox. So we've got the Xbox showcase plus the Starfield showcase. So I don't think we have to dwell on the Starfield part of it because that's just going to be they're going to show Starfield and it's going to be more Starfield. So we're going to see both of those. So it's a move on from that and focus on really the Xbox part of this, which would assume all of their studios. But it could be anything from a game to hardware to anything. So what do you expect to see out of those realms?
Man, I'm not sure what I expect to see. I know some things that I want to see from Xbox, and I know like I don't want to steal yours, so I'm trying to think of something different
Oh, did
that
I?
that we could
Sorry, I
see.
shouldn't even put it on here. I'm sharing the doc. I'm
It's
like, oh, I
okay.
shouldn't
That's
even do
okay.
that
That's
out
all
there.
right.
I should gray it out.
It's all good. Um, what I expect to see is maybe a hint at the next Gears game. I think
Okay.
Xbox is still struggling to find their place. I think they've hitched their ride to some weird exclusives or some stuff that just didn't land right or whatever. And I think with Halo kind of being fizzle, I think it's time to hit with a new Gears game and show it off. Even if it's like 2 or 3 years out, I think it's time to be like, Gears is coming. Let's rev up the chainsaw guns and really make Gears the number one thing. Like maybe it's not Halo anymore. Maybe it's Gears. Let's hype this up. Let's get this franchise going again.
Gears 5, I'm thinking, came out in 20. Looking it up now. Came out. Man, oh man, it makes it hard to find these dates. Come on. Come on. Come on, Google. Don't let me down. So Gears came out in 2019. We're at 2023. So if
Yeah.
it came out in 2025, you're talking like 5 years. That seems sufficient.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. It makes a lot of sense. And Gears is like Forza Horizon 5 and Gears. Those are the rock solids. They deliver. Nobody complains about Gears. I mean,
Yeah.
except, oh, it's more Gears. But I mean, they continue to build on it. They do like the expansions with the high busters.
Mm-hmm.
They have a really solid like PvP elements. They do great PvE. So I mean, Gears is the game that you feel like, hey, it's coming out. I've got something to do, and I'm not going to be let down. I mean, I think that's where you go. And they bring in like their guest stars. Like they could bring in Vin Diesel now because of Fast 22. And I don't know, Mark, who else could they bring into to Gears of War that would be awesome?
Oh man.
Mandalorian? He's got the
Holy shit.
armor.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Oh, who
That'd
else?
be amazing. Yeah, I'd just go crazy. Get Doom Guy in there.
They own the company. I mean, why not? Oh yeah, that would be great. I love it. And I mean, I don't think they would bring in someone from Animal Crossing, but is there anybody cute? Maybe Viva Pinatas. Maybe like they're explodable like things you send forward to kill the hive or something like that.
Good, good DLC, yeah, like almost like a cheat code kind of thing. That'd be neat. I'd like that.
Nice. Okay, well, I like that. Anything else from Xbox that you expect to see?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay.
I think they need a new like upper tier. It's not Halo anymore.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think Halo needs to find its footing and take them off the stage, have people forget about them for some time until they have really something to like make us feel really excited about the brand coming back.
Yeah.
For me, I expect to see Hellblade 2 because we know we're getting Forza. That's game. They even announced it. We know we're getting Starfield. Outside of that, there's not a lot of the games that were like, yep, we're getting those. As far as unless I'm missing something. So I think Hellblade 2 is the game they've shown already. and they feel like it's their competitor for like a game of the year from like a critical lens. And Mark, that's the game. I said if that game is coming out and announced, I said I would finally play it. I think you said too you would play Hellblade 1.
Yep, I
Okay.
tried. I wasn't in a good place mentally, and I really have to get back to it because
Okay.
I
So
think
we'll make an agreement to
I
give that
handle
one a
it
try.
better.
So at least we can support each other through it. And
Yeah.
go from there. But
Okay.
I definitely said I would because I was in a scenario. I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit down from this game and I need to feel up. So I need to be in a better place. So, but I think that game is, it's the darling that I think they feel like can really put out to the people like we're doing some different types of games now under Xbox. So I think it'll be there. I think we're going to see the Game Pass family plan finally announced. I mean, that's been out there so all over the place, and it's like, but we just haven't announced it yet. Please do,
Mhm.
because so many families want to use their Game Pass to play together on Halo multiplayer or other things, and it feels like, oh, you can't because you're not like Logan. He can't play when we're playing at the same time because we share a game. So it just needs to happen. Um, and I think we're going to get a Starfield custom console.
Smart.
So
I could definitely see controllers, but custom console that works. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I expect to see at Xbox. Okay. Moving on to Ubisoft, Mark. What do you expect to see at Ubisoft Forward? Because they already showed Assassin's Creed Mirage, which
Mhm.
you'd mentioned you were going to talk more about, but they showed it.
I expect to see more. It was a great trailer, but I expect to see a deeper dive into Mirage, and maybe a peek at some of the newer stuff with what's upcoming after Mirage, which they've already showed off a lot of that stuff too. So I expect to see kind of more development on maybe like the mobile game or whatever. I forget what that one's called, uh, but a really really deep dive into Mirage and why it pushes things forward while also kind of going back to the roots a little bit by the looks of what we saw at Sony, and like really show more of that aspect of it. So that's kind of what I expect to see from those guys.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm a little lacking on Ubisoft, to be honest. I really don't know from their portfolio what they have to show. But I think one thing they're going to go in on is X Defiant. Apparently, they've gotten good buzz about that game. This is kind of like I don't know if it's what even type of what they would categorize X Defiant, but it's on everything right now. It's kind of like the All Stars of Ubisoft in a type of a PvP type game. So I think they're going to go all in, saying that game's got positive reviews, and they're going to announce what their big plan for X Defiant is. It's definitely not for me, but I think that's where they need a win after so many times they've tried to find that live service game. So I think that's what they're going to go in for, and that's what I expect to see. Okay,
Cool.
Mark. Last one, Nintendo. If they do an event, what do you expect to see?
I mean, this one's kind of an obvious expect to see because I expect to see what the heck they're doing. And I think they need an event because of that. I think we have Tears of the Kingdom. We know Pikmin 4 is coming out, but what else? What am I excited about this fall or the rest of the year? So I think I expect them just to simply have an event and to show off some stuff because no one knows really what's going on. They've already announced that there's no new hardware this fall. So what's the reason they can't still be pushing Tears of the Kingdom the holiday season? I mean, I'm sure they'll do a bundle or something, or they'll still do their little push of like, hey, if you somehow miss this, go get Tears of the Kingdom. But like, we need something new. And
Yeah,
I
because it feels like their
expect them to
bag of
show that off.
tricks is getting lean. It's not like they can go back to their next round of X, Y, and Z. The Mario. I mean, and that's where I'm like I'm struggling, and I'm like, what franchises could they go? They can't do any like Zelda like HD remasters because they just had Tears of the Kingdom. I don't think they would do that. Um, I mean, could they go back into like another Mario 3D All Stars or whatever type of collection? Could they
Yeah.
do more Metroid Prime remasters? I'm just really struggling to see what they could go after because
Mhm.
the big games, I just don't see them divulging until unless they release, they say these games are going to come and then they also get ported to the next console. It just seems like why would you waste big releases if we know there's something coming soon on those
Mhm.
consoles? So yeah, it's frustrating because as a Nintendo fan, you're like, okay, well, um, I know something's you got new games coming, but are
Yeah.
we getting anything this year? And I just and that's why I think people are leaning towards like maybe Metroid Prime 4 is their big fall game. But I'm like, wouldn't we want better hardware for that?
And that's the point. Like I'm really hoping that the hardware is at least a little bit backwards compatible, like Xbox Series and PlayStation is right now, where there's new stuff unlocked if you get it for the newer consoles. You know, it's a faster frame rate, better this, better that, but like it still works on an Xbox One or a PS4. And I'm hoping for a little bit that they do that with Switch 2, Super Switch, Electric Boogaloo, or whatever they come out with. But I mean, if it's a completely different concept, yeah, maybe they're just, all right, well, you have a great Zelda game. Thanks for enjoying the Switch. Here's our next thing. I don't know, man. It's making me kind of worried.
Well, with that, Mark, I'll give you mine.
All
I
right.
think if we do get something, we're gonna get the NSO next releases, like what's big, like the big
Okay.
NSO
Yep.
from those platforms.
Yep.
We're gonna get the Mario Kart next track pack from that,
Yep.
and I think we're gonna get another big GameCube remaster, and it might be the Mario, Paper Mario, or the what is it, the
Oh,
Thousand Year Door,
yeah.
because it doesn't seem like they're touching GameCube. And I feel like that's the treasure trove to go after to bring those games back and bring them back to as a full release. So
Mhm.
maybe that's the game they go after where it's like it's kind of not anywhere you can access it now and we're going to give it to you but it's going to be updated, maybe extra content.
I like it. Yeah.
All right. All right. So that is what we expect to see. So, Mark, moving on, we'll move this a little quicker. What you want to see, Summer Games Fest?
I want. I mentioned this. I think I kind of alluded to this before. Maybe I didn't. I can't remember what I said or not. Jedi Survivor DLC.
Nice.
And or the next big Star Wars game. I think they've got such a great hit on their hands. Let us explore more of the galaxy. Let us explore a planet. Let us go after some more bounty hunters or pirates or something. There's so much that they could do to expand DLC for Jedi Survivor after the game is finished that yeah, I think they have kind of free reign, like without even having to worry about setting up something for the next game. They can just be like, hey, Cal, someone walked into the bar and they caused some trouble, but they also said this. Can you go stop them? And here's another 5 hour little DLC adventure to go on. Easy peasy, done. Get me excited. Like, that's that's it. If they don't do that, show me what the next cool Star Wars thing is. I want EA to step up and just keep on swinging.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, EA doesn't have a game conference this year, so if the EA wants to show something to get us excited, I know they've struggled at times, so I definitely could see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for myself, I think maybe PlayStation saves some things for the showcase. One of
Mm.
those things could be Team Asobi's new game, which could be a new Astrobot game, which would be
Mm.
playable as a standard platformer, but also in VR as well, because
Very
that
cool.
that is one of the best pack-in games of all time, and I know people want more. And it's criminal that that team has not announced anything. So I hope they have that ready because I know that would make a lot of people happy because it's just such a fun game. And then Mark, once you ever get a PlayStation 5, your son will absolutely love it because the dual
Yeah.
sense when it reacts, and he's adorable, adorable little guy.
So cool.
And then maybe a Marvel trailer. So Disney owns all the Marvel games.
Ooh.
And quite honestly, I expect more out of Marvel games. And I think we should see something outside of anybody's showcase of owning a console. We got the Captain America Black Panther game. And outside of that, I'm trying to think. We've got the Iron Man game as well coming. So I would love to see a trailer for a new Marvel game. And I don't care where it goes. I just want more Marvel games.
I, yeah. Yep. I won't jump ahead.
All right. Okay. We'll go to Ubisoft then. What's next? What do we want to see at Ubisoft?
I want to see Mario Rabbids DLC.
I thought we did. Did that? They not showcase it?
They announced they showcased DLC 1 back in March, and I think they announced the title for DLC 2. So I want to see DLC 2. Not just the title. I want to see what it's all about and more details of it. Maybe I just missed it. It was like a couple of days ago, so that's entirely possible. But I think we'll get a deeper dive into that. Even if they've announced some stuff, I want like show and tell. You know,
I get it. I get it. That game series is so beloved, and I wish it did so much better.
Yep.
Okay, Mark, for me, I want anything on that Ubisoft Star Wars game. Really, come on, guys. I mean, I've heard that this game might actually be coming out in 2024. So if it is, this is where it'll be shown. If it is, I don't even know what to say, because I mean, a Far Cry. That's what it's supposed to be, like a Far Cry style Star Wars game.
I think so. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Now, I don't want it just to be like go to like an observation tower, checkpoints. Here's all your missions. Go kill them and get some banthas that attack people. I don't know if I want that, but I want a perspective of being in a open world that's living and doing some cool things. Because Jedi Survivor does a little bit of that, but it's a little bit more constrained.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, like you said, the blueprints are maybe there a tiny bit in Jedi Survivor, but like they could really go all out with some mayhem.
Because that's the Division team, right? That's planning the game.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, something.
Because if it is,
that
that's
sounds
like
about right.
because that could be like a more of a get your team together and go do something. Almost get like a that could be. I mean, totally different than we got from Star Wars ever. It's like get a team together. Hey, I got a Jedi. I've got a rogue. I've got a hacker. I got a droid, and we can go and do these things and take down something. And
Yeah,
depending on the era, I mean that'd be kind of cool.
yeah. Like you said, depending on era, there's so many eras they can go to. Like so much.
Yeah. Other than that, I just Ubisoft. I mean, have we had a Rayman game in years? I would love to see a new Rayman game. Come on.
Yeah.
What do you? It's not like you're pulling up stuff. But ultimately, Mark, I mean, the big thing. I want them to abandon whatever the hell that Beyond Good and Evil thing is they're working on, and just give me a proper sequel with those characters in a Zelda-like experience. It's like they lost the design document and didn't realize that's what people loved about the game. They didn't want like the weird pig and girl going on intergalactic adventures with it just like you guys totally lost it. Come back, give us something cool, like like our which our game of the year was, and we even talked about that. I mean, make it similar to God, I'm blanking on the name, Mark.
Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, do something like that. I mean, make it more simplified. And would I like to see more about Immortals? Of course.
Yeah.
And why not? I mean, that game seemed to be critically loved and people liked it. So more Immortals would be great.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So lastly, Mark, what you want to see from Nintendo?
Wind Waker.
Oh, the collection?
On Switch.
Are you talking about like Wind Waker?
At this point, I don't even care if it's a collection. Like I would love the Wii U collection, which would be like Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I'd settle for just paying full price again because I'm stupid for Wind Waker. I just want it on my Switch. Do that. And while I'm thinking about water, Wave Race, because I have to mention that once per show or I don't get paid. Uh, Wave Race and Wind Waker. Give me some water adventures.
All right, all right. I'll give it to you, Mark. You know what? You deserve that. You know, you get so little in this world from them. You know what? Make Mark happy, guys. Give him Wave Race, a
Come on.
new Wave Race. Make it happen. Maybe a 1080p X2, whatever. Give him that too.
Yeah.
You know, just make it like a sports collection, like an action sports collection, and just blow Mark's mind. He won't be able to operate for like 5 weeks because he'll be like, "Oh, I'm getting what? Oh my god, my brain!"
Exactly.
And yeah, he breaks everything. Has a mini
Yeah.
stroke. I don't want that, Mark. I don't want that. I don't want you to. I want you to be healthy. Don't have mini stroke, please.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. Bite down on a wallet. Maybe that'll help when they
I'll
announce
try.
that. So for myself, I want a Link Between Worlds on Switch.
Ooh,
I
I
think that would
like
be
it.
phenomenal. I know it's probably too close to Tears of the Kingdom, but I mean, I just love those type of games. It's amazing. I really want
Mhm.
that. It would make me so happy. I just think it's such a phenomenal game that I never got as much as I wanted to into
Mhm.
3DS because I didn't love the console itself. So I think that would be a great game. Um, Along with that, Mark, what do I want to see? Beautiful Joe, whatever. Remaster collection, bring
Yes.
back Beautiful Joe. I know it's Capcom, but I mean, you think of like the Capcom, what, 5 that was for
Yeah.
GameCube? And
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe, it feels like the one that's been just left behind and
Hmm.
ignored. So I want Beautiful Joe to come back, please.
Yes.
All right. And Mark, this is the fun part where we just get to be old codgers and just going to be grumpy based on nothing but, you know, our anger. What do you not want to see at these conferences? So Summer Games Fest, Mark, what do you not want to see?
Summer Games Fest. If you look at that list, the featured companies, there's a lot of like mobile or mobile first or like mobile centric, and I just don't want that. Like, there's a great. I like mobile games. I play a lot of mobile games. I like Apple Arcade. I like what some of these companies are doing, but they don't always need to be mixed in. Like, if I'm seeing big epic adventures from like Ubisoft and Activision and EA and even cool stuff that like Epic's doing and whatever, like I don't need to hear about like what's next from Netflix games on mobile or like what gotcha thing Disney's coming up with next or whatever. Like I don't know. I know it's all gaming and all gaming's good and blah 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 whatever, but like I just have it separate or something. I just don't care.
I know what
I
you're
don't know. It
talking
feels like
about.
it
Yeah.
needs to be separate events or something. Like I still want to hear about this stuff, but like I want it to be like, hey, there's a new Stranger Things game. It's on mobile and it's on mobile tomorrow. Go get it. Like I don't want it to be like, hey, here's what's coming up in 6 months from Niantic. Like, no, shut up. Like, just give me more Pokemon Go and stop trying to be like, here's NBA Basketball Go, where you can collect NBA stars from the 80s as you go for a walk. Like, I don't care. Stop. Especially not in my summer game fest activity thing where there's a lot to hear about.
Yeah. Nobody wants the ad that you would normally get from a YouTube video to be a
Yeah,
big part of the show.
that one. Yes.
Yep. Yep. For myself, I do not want Kojima on stage gushing with Keeley. Don't care about their relationship. I don't care. I'm really not into Kojima games anymore, and they just don't do anything for me. So, from that being a big part of the show, I could care less. You know what?
Yeah.
Take it off stage, have a podcast together, make some food, you know, brew together. I don't know. I don't care. Don't
Yeah.
show me that. All
Yeah.
right. So, Xbox, Mark, really quickly. What do you not want to see from Xbox?
I don't want to see them talk about new acquisitions or anything else. I want them to just focus on games. You've acquired enough studios. You're working on the Activision thing. Shut up and show me what you paid for. That's it.
I totally agree. Yeah, take the politics out of it. Just show us why we bought our Xboxes and go from there. So what I would say, I don't want to hear about how many players' hours of interaction they have with Xbox, because to me, I could care less how many people are playing their games. I just want to know that the games they're playing is more than just like something I could care less. That's a metric I don't care about.
Yeah.
Leave it alone. I don't want Forza porn. We've seen Forza Motorsport when they showed it before. I don't want to see 85 angles of a car. It's Forza. We know what it is. If it's rain, all those. I don't care. It's Forza. It's
Here's a
Forza.
ladybug on a blade of grass that you're going to be driving past at 300 miles per hour. But we've meticulously detailed the raindrop on this blade of grass doing dynamic reflection of the ladybug that's also crawling up. Yeah, I get you.
We've done physics models of 80 tires and shocks. I don't care. I'm not the Forza guy, and taking up my time showing more of this game, which we know that Forza Horizon is far more popular these days. It just to me, it takes away from like, and let's put it this way: racing games always look good. I don't care what you say because it's a fixed track and they look good and they control it. I don't care. Don't tell me that's the thing. They always deliver. It's not news. Let's move on. If you're not sold on those games, I'm not. I could care less. It's where I drop out because they say, "Oh, we have a partnership with Fiat now." Blah blah blah. Yes, yes, Mark. Oh well. Yes. And then Starfield, because we're getting a Starfield show. Don't show any Starfield.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the point. Okay. Ubisoft, very quickly, Mark. We're going to wrap up this boy. We're going to take it home. So Ubisoft, what do you not want to hear about or see?
Oh, I don't want to deep dive into the next Just Dance game. We know it's coming. We know it's on everything. We know what it is by now. You don't even have to mention it.
Great point. Yeah,
it just always exists.
It's always exists. Yeah.
It's there. Like the people who are going to buy Just Dance, just go out and buy Just Dance. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I don't want the next Tom Clancy PvP guys doing things, infiltrating a third world country. I don't think anybody wants another Tom Clancy game doing the same thing they've always done before. Don't show us that. If you do, I feel like, wow, especially with Extraction, probably going to be pointed out, unless it's Splinter Cell. If it's not Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy, go home. And he's dead. I know he is. God bless your family.
I was just gonna say, he's dead. You just told a dead dude to go home, man.
We don't. Mark, they bought him. They bought Tom Clancy. They probably own his grave. It's probably the grave. The grave is probably in Yves Goma's house, and he looks at everything and goes like, "I own you." that was part of the deal, Mark. They bought his corpse.
I don't like that at all.
Sorry. No offense to the family of Tom Clancy. Yves Gaiman, return his body to his family.
Good Lord.
Okay, moving after Todd's going to hell. Nintendo, Mark, what do you not want to see from Nintendo?
Can I say I don't want Nintendo to not show up? Does that count?
Absolutely. You don't want them to be absent.
Yeah, that's scaring me right now. So I don't want that.
That's sufficient.
Easy answer.
Yeah. Since you said that, so I'll build on yours.
Right.
I do want them to show, but what I don't want them to show me is something that should be held for the next console. Because I don't want to have to buy the same game again, or it be crippled. And that's a horrible thing. Because, I mean, I don't want it to be held back by the next Switch console, or because it's not going there already by itself. And we're going to get a better version there. Because I think that's the challenge. And we don't know Nintendo, their stance on if they're going to just basically make everything go forward compatible. If they do, then it's whatever, and it plays there. But I'm just worrisome that we don't have a clear view. And so any game that's going to be coming out on Switch could be hampered and not improved on the next console if that's where it should be.
I'll build on that one a tiny bit, and I don't want them to show up half-assed either. Like, I don't want them to show up and be like, hey, you should buy a Switch this fall because all of these great games are available already. And they show like 25 games that we all already own. They're like, hey, have you played Super Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart 8? It's like, yes, everyone has. We know about it. Don't show that anymore. Like, I don't want that scissor wheel or focus. Bring new stuff.
Absolutely. And we could have said like what we want to see is the next Switch console, but we're not that stupid to know it's going to happen this summer. So yeah, we're not fools. We were born, but not yesterday, is what they say, right?
That's exactly the same.
We were born, not last night. Oh well, that is it for our recap of things that may and may not happen. We'll have a recap. I believe the next showing, Mark, will be after all these events. So we'll have a feel of like we were right or wrong, and if we were happy or sad. So I think that's where we should close this show. So with that, Mark, thank you, and tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and of course our Discord channel as _Canardian, or on Xbox and Switch as just Canardian if you want to game with me.
Excellent. For my personal stuff, you can follow me at Teoxtra, where I'm talking about the world of nerd, video games, weird comments on the world of fantasy football, sports, and such. But all the good stuff is at Secret Friends U on Twitter, Secret Friends, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. Check that out. Get a free trial and check out our good stuff. And also secretfriendsunite.com for everything. And also give us a review on all of our podcasts everywhere, on all of the places you can check them out. And also check out YouTube, because you can see our wonderful faces in more places, our backgrounds, Mark reactions to my stupid statements.
or the Forza thing broke me, man. Between that and Clancy, that's all-time Todd.
I'm a man with a big heart, and I love the dead. I want them to return to their families from corporate greed. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
Yeah. So, folks, you have a good night. Thank you for joining us on this video game journey. And Mark, thank you. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.